What's up, guys? It's your boy Vito Gesualdi here with the exciting Star Wars news that you have come to learn and appreciate from this channel, this Star Wars channel. We only talk about Star Wars. That's not true, but the Star Wars stuff, I mean, the movie's coming. Rise of Skywalker is almost here. I'm trying to keep an open mind. I don't know how you fix it. Maybe you could fix it. We'll find out. But what we did also find out, terrible segue. Bad news, man. We also, I'm just sick, first of all. So this video, I'm not exactly light on my toes. I took some of that cold medicine. I think it's got alcohol in it.
It's called Robocough. It's a legal substance, but it's very dangerous to the families of Fort Bend County.
I'm a little loopy right now, but I couldn't not report on this news that we keep confirming things that we all knew. We knew in our heart of hearts that the people involved with The Last Jedi were not convinced of its greatness the way some of these critics and whoever else, these people who keep writing articles about how The Last Jedi saved Star Wars. That's something I saw today. I don't think that the cast and crew agree with them. I think the cast and crew knows that, unfortunately, Rian Johnson produced a bit of a dud. Rian Johnson, luckily, he gets to run off and do whatever he wants. He can go make another movie. I mean, no matter what, he gets to say, look, I made $1 billion for Disney. He's fine. It's all these people who have to come in after the fact to make the next movie who are like, oh my God, Ryan's put us in a hole. How do we salvage this? So we have not one, but two major players in the Star Wars landscape commenting on Last Jedi with as much as they can. Now, they can't say too much. I know there's contract stipulations where I'm sure they're not allowed to, create any sort of negative press without causing trouble for themselves. But the movie's done. Rise of Skywalker, I hope to God it's done. I mean, it comes out in like a week or two. It's in the bag. It's over. Everybody's moving on to new projects. So now's the time they can start getting a little honest about the process. Because it's not like, they got to show up to work and have someone yell at them. John Boyega, J.J. Abrams, they're already working on something else. The only thing they have to worry about is getting an angry phone call from Kathleen Kennedy. So the first man who was willing to rock the boat a little bit was John Boyega, who is here wearing a very attractive coat. I'm not a fashion guy, but he's a good-looking man. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of feel like The Last Jedi kind of screwed John Boyega, who in The Force Awakens was kind of being prepped as a major character, some sort of hero. And then in Last Jedi, I don't even know if he's the B plot. He's like the C plot, him and Rose on a casino adventure. He's almost like an afterthought, like they didn't know what to do with him. I was recently rewatching Force Awakens, and it seems like they had much more planned for him. I mean, he has this moment where he, sees Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren knows him by name.
We're checking the registers now to identify which stormtrooper it was.
The one from the village. FN 2187.
In the second movie, they don't interact at all. It's very weird. I mean, you can't feel too bad for the guy, because I'm sure he got millions of dollars being in the movie, but it does kind of seem like he was primed to be a major part of this Star Wars universe, and he's kind of been relegated to nothingness. Anyway, here in this article from Hypebeast, the keyword here is iffy. As they say here on Hypebeast, Finn's character arc in the new Star Wars trilogy has tracked his journey to break away from the conformity of the First Order stormtroopers and discover his own identity, which could have been interesting. I mean, this was the first time we kind of saw a human side of a stormtrooper, and it ended up not being as interesting as we hoped it would be. In fact, it seems like Rian Johnson almost forgot that Finn used to be a stormtrooper. He has Rose lecturing Finn about what it's like to be, a child slave or whatever. You're like, I thought Finn was a child slave. Wasn't he kidnapped as a child and became a stormtrooper? Shouldn't he be giving this speech?
They took everything we had. And who do you think these people are?
I don't know if Ryan actually watched Force Awakens very closely. Anyway, however, the follow-up film, The Last Jedi, sidetracked that character progression, much to the chagrin. I never know if I'm pronouncing that word. Chagrin. Horrible word. Of fans and Boyega himself. And here's a direct quote from Boyega. The Force Awakens, I think, was the beginning of something quite solid. I can't believe he's going to say it. He's about to say it. The Last Jedi, if I'm being honest, I'd say that was feeling a bit iffy for me. Oh no! Oh no! One of the stars, one of the main leads, agreeing that maybe there was something wrong with Rian Johnson's cinematic masterpiece, which all the critics loved. These racist critics who enjoyed seeing the black character reduced to comic relief. Shame on them. Us true fans, who they call us the racists, we're like, what happened to the black guy? Why is he not like a main part of it? Why is he the B plot? This sucks. No, but we're the racists. I'm the racist here. I didn't necessarily agree with a lot of the choices in that, and that's something that spoke to Mark Hamill a lot about, and we had conversations about it. And it was hard for all of us because we were separated. Yeah. I mean, Mark Hamill famously doesn't care. He's out there. He's like, this is not my Luke Skywalker. I called this guy Jake Skywalker because I don't even think he's anything like Luke. I fundamentally disagree with what Rian Johnson did.
I told Ryan, I fundamentally disagree with virtually everything you've decided about my character.
Mark Hamill's like, whatever, I got my paycheck, I'm done. Boyega, who does not have Mark Hamill's level of respect, had to play the game a little harder, to keep Disney in his good graces, but he's willing to say, I don't know what happened to my character. I was on this adventure. I had a lightsaber in the last movie. I fought against Kylo Ren, the leader of the First Order. I was a major part of this whole thing. Second movie, I get crashed into by my Asian girlfriend. I get a big fight against Captain Phasma, the lamest character in the history of Star Wars. Yeah, I feel bad for you, John. I don't think you got what you deserved. There could have been a lot more Finn. I think introducing Rose just complicated things. She didn't add to Finn's character. Boyega has been candid on Twitter about his feelings on Finn's story, and much to his surprise, Star Wars fans have responded to say they craved more of his story. He believes there's more to be told with the character, but not as a standalone project. He thinks Finn truly shines when he's paired with Rey and Poe Dameron. Yeah, you had these three characters who are the core pillar of the whole franchise, and Rian Johnson split them all up. He said Finn's going to do his own thing, Rey's going to do her own thing, Poe Dameron's going to learn a lesson about listening to women. You only get 3 movies for these characters to interact and form a friendship and form a bond. It's very weird to split them up, like, immediately. I have Disney Plus. I was rewatching Empire Strikes Back recently. And that movie, even though, Han and Leia and Luke end up going their separate ways in that movie, and there are 2 different, an A and a B story, at the beginning of the movie, they're all together. All of the stuff on Hoth really reestablishes these characters and reestablishes their relationships. Whereas in The Last Jedi, I don't know, Finn wakes up, him and Poe freak out a little bit. Immediately Rose starts interjecting herself into the plot line. We never see Rey with anybody. She's just on the island with Luke and she's just there. Eventually hooks back up with the villain. Star Wars is not interesting as a bunch of separate plot threads. It's interesting because of the core character dynamics. And that's what makes you care about each character, is because you see the other characters caring about that character. Not only are you worried, like, oh my God, I hope Luke doesn't die in an ice cave, but that's reestablished by seeing Han like, oh my God, where is Luke? I have to go find him. Seeing the characters all care about each other and the relief they feel when a character is saved, or the horror they feel as Han Solo is frozen in carbonite. Like, that's interesting. Splitting everybody up, it almost doesn't make any sense for this kind of story. Boyega also talks about this idea of trying to introduce realism to Star Wars. These, dark real-world themes where, oh, don't you know that as you get old, you become a delusioned, bitter old man who, turns his back on everything he ever loved? Yeah, I mean, that can happen in reality, but the whole point of movies is they're supposed to transport us to a place where we see elements of the ideal human condition, where we don't just see like, yeah, the world sucks and it's never going to get any better. We see characters who are like, no, that's just a byproduct of what you're living in. and it can be overcome. Humanity can be more. Here is a character that represents what humanity could be, not the dark, depressing reality of what humanity may be at this point in time. He says, like many fans, Boyega believes in the themes previously established in the Star Wars franchise rather than the focus on realism introduced in The Last Jedi. He says he would only return to the character if the future story encapsulated those classic characteristics. The banner, the bickering, the undercover romances that manifest in an epic moment. That for me is Star Wars. It's not hyper-real or realistic or grounded. Don't do any of that. It's like connection, family, friendship. If they're going to do it in that direction, then absolutely. He's saying he would stay involved if Star Wars is able to refine what the series is truly about. And what the series is about, again, is hope. We're like real hope. You know, the idea that there is always something better. If you keep fighting, you'll find it. You don't have to kill your nephew while he's sleeping or any of this nonsense. This dark, realistic, whatever the hell take on Star Wars. Get it out of here. Now, I highly recommend you check out that entire interview with John Boyega on Hypebeast. Very good stuff. But we also had on the New York Times, will Star Wars stick the landing? J.J. Abrams will try. And my God, he's going to have to try pretty hard, as we all have accepted. We don't know how on earth you fix this thing. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I just disapprove of J.J. Abrams' method of storytelling. I don't see how it possibly works. It's a hook. He can write a hook, but you have to deliver on a hook. And I almost feel like he's an idiot for stepping back in at the last moment. I feel like he should have just ran for the hills and been like, whatever. I got away with it. I got away with making The Force Awakens without any clue of where any of it was going. And should have just blamed whatever failures on whoever came after him. I don't know why he's getting involved now. I guess he's probably getting a big old paycheck. So here they talk about what's interesting is as they were making The Force Awakens, Kathleen Kennedy did go to J.J. Abrams and say, do you also want to direct episodes 8 and 9? And J.J. said, are you crazy? Which kind of makes sense. I can't imagine. You'd have to have balls of steel to want to be responsible for every aspect of the new Star Wars trilogy. Rian Johnson only directed, one of the 3 movies, and he's still going to go down as the guy who killed Star Wars. So imagine taking responsibility for all 3 movies. You want to just direct one, hope that it's good, and get out of Dodge. Again, why did he come back? The Last Jedi, released in 2017, was a success, but each time it addressed one of several cliffhangers left dangling. Johnson's movie seemed to say the answers to these questions aren't as important as you think. Yeah, J.J. Abrams, and I'm sure J.J. disagreed with that. J.J. loves the mystery box, but he likes the idea that there's something inside the mystery box. Even if J.J. didn't immediately know who Snoke was, which again, I think is a horrible method of storytelling, he did know that inside the Who is Snoke mystery box, you have to have an answer. You can't just kill him off and say it doesn't matter. It matters. It does. I mean, the guy is at the center of the plot. He's the reason Kylo Ren turned evil. You have to give us something. Adams praised The Last Jedi for being full of surprises and subversion and all sorts of bold choices, which it isn't. It's not. I mean, you can say it's bold to just, try to trick people with every single plot hook. I don't think it's bold. I think it's just easy to go, yeah, none of it matters. This is my story now. And then the opportunities he had to be bold, creative decisions where I actually would have been like, oh my God, Rey's going to go to the dark side. That would have been bold. Or, oh my God, they're going to kill off Finn, a major storyline character, in the second movie. That would have been bold. He didn't do either of those. His idea of bold was, the bad guy's dead, and we didn't even tell you who he is. It's stupid. But here it is. Here's JJ throwing a little bit of shade. On the other hand, he added. It's a bit of a meta approach to the story. Meta is a fun way of saying, yeah, it's interesting. It's not good, but it's interesting. I don't think people go to Star Wars to be told, this doesn't matter. You're right, JJ, we don't. There's a time and a place for that kind of storytelling. There really is. I think that the themes in The Last Jedi and a completely different movie, this idea that failure, you can learn from it, and even heroes can change. Yeah, that could all work in the right movie. But Star Wars has a core emotional theme. And Rian Johnson threw it aside. Maybe you think it's childish to want escapism, but I hate to say this, my life is not, the most wonderful fucking thing in the world, okay? I don't wake up every day with rainbows and sunshine. I enjoy watching a movie where I go, you know what? If I keep struggling upwards, something good's gonna happen. There is something noble in doing what is right and embodying a character like Skywalker who sees bad people, sees a bad man like his father, Darth Vader, and offers him redemption. There's something in that, just a little bit of inspiration. Maybe it's cheesy, maybe it's corny, and I know you new age storytellers, you go, but the real world doesn't work like that. Why not? Again, the point is that while the real world may not be full of these beautiful moments, why couldn't it be? Why, if we keep fighting towards that ideal, these ideals we set out for ourselves in this type of inspirational media, if more of us did embody the lessons we learn from a character like Luke Skywalker, perhaps the world could become a better place. Why must the movies reflect the dismal reality in which we live, rather than reflecting, the glorious nature of heroism to which we should aspire? Point is, John Boyega has a very nice looking coat. Good looking coat, John. That's the point of this whole video. No, point of this video is I'm going to be blown away if Last Skywalker, I don't even know the name of the movie, is how little I care. Rise of Skywalker, it can't fix it. It's not going to fix what Rian Johnson did. There's no way to undo the second movie. It could get it over the finish line in an interesting way. It could get us back to those core themes of heroism and hope. That's the most I'm going to hope for right now. It does sound like some of the cast and crew, J.J. Abrams included. I'll say this about J.J. Abrams. I think he's an idiot with his mystery box storytelling, but he does understand, what people go to the movies for. I think you watch any of his movies, he understands the core themes that people want to see. And there's a reason we want to see those core themes when we go see an action-adventure blockbuster. If I want to see a dark, depressing drama, I can do that. There's plenty of weird foreign cinema. I can watch an old Japanese man with a cancer just dying slowly as his family forgets about him. I've seen that movie, okay? You don't got to put that shit in Star Wars. Fingers crossed that Rise of Skywalker gives us anything resembling a fitting conclusion of this Star Wars saga. I don't know. I don't think I'll be truly satisfied with anything I get, but I'm at least looking forward to seeing what gets done. But if anything, I'm happy that we're slowly getting away from the world of if you don't like The Last Jedi, it's because you're a racist and a sexist. Now that the cast and crew themselves are admitting there are fundamental problems with the story. Hopefully we can get to the point where people stop linking to me as an example of an alt-right Nazi because I don't like Star Wars. John Boyega is not an alt-right Nazi, and he has some of the same criticisms I do, okay? I think it just wasn't a good movie. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching my video. Sorry if I sound like garbage. I am sick. I'm gonna go get some rest, have some chicken noodle soup. But I do want to remind you my Game Enemy Weapon is on sale right now. For $30, you get a signed copy, you get the expansion pack, but I am leaving on a plane on Sunday. So if your order is not in by Friday, I am not going to be able to ship it to you until January or sort. So if you want to get this in time for the holidays, right now, go to enemyweapon.com. Get yourself a copy with my signature on there. People, you're going to love it. Check out some reviews online. It's a great game. We got more videos coming soon. Peace and love in 2020. And looking forward to that Rise of Skywalker. We'll see with that train wreck. Oh, boy. It's going to be a nightmare.